If you hold a U.S. passport or a green card, you're used to the airport wave-through. You scan your document, the gate opens, and you're home. But if you hold a second passport, that frictionless entry is largely over. Travelers with dual citizenship are suddenly finding themselves pulled out of the standard lines and directed into secondary inspection rooms. The system flags these individuals specifically because they possess documentation from another country. That's a jarring experience. You're returning to what you legally consider your home country, only to be questioned like a visitor whose intentions are in doubt. To figure out exactly what kind of delay you should expect on your next trip, we need to map out how different traveler profiles are actually being scrutinized and identify the preparation required for each. The border now operates as a profile-based evaluation system. For anyone with dual documentation, the primary purpose of the stop has shifted toward verifying your status against global databases. Now, you might have heard rumors that a strict new immigration law was passed targeting dual citizens. The actual cause is much quieter. We are looking at a massive administrative shift. Customs and Border Protection integrated automated screening systems that cross-reference multiple travel databases simultaneously. This diagram shows the 2026 CBP processing pathway. A single U.S. passport means direct entry. If the system detects dual documentation, you're diverted into algorithmic screening. This automated cross-referencing, combined with enhanced officer discretion, pipelines you directly into secondary inspection. Being pulled into a secondary room no longer implies an accusation of guilt. The system is structurally wired to flag the mere possession of a second passport. Your border risk is not one size fits all. It depends entirely on the specific documentation you hold. On our traveler scrutiny matrix, the visa waiver dual citizen holds allied citizenship but has ties to a restricted country. A disqualified ESTA or travel inconsistencies triggers an algorithmic flag. This forces a manual CBP review, causing unpredictable border delays. The trade-off here is precision. To keep a routine stop from escalating into a prolonged detention, your travel narratives and your documentation must perfectly align every single time you fly. A U.S. passport does not provide automatic immunity from these checks. Instead, you must survive the algorithmic review by maintaining perfect narrative consistency. The friction increases significantly for our second profile, naturalized U.S. citizens born in nations on elevated national security watch lists. On the matrix, presenting a U.S. passport displaying a restricted birthplace like Sudan, Syria, or Iran, alongside an active foreign passport, guarantees a secondary inspection. This outcome routinely takes several hours to resolve. For these travelers, international travel now carries a high probability of significant delays and intensive questioning upon return. If you fall into this demographic, you have to weigh the practical utility of retaining your birth country passport against the recurring administrative burden at the U.S. border. For naturalized citizens from flagged nations, holding that second passport creates systemic friction. It changes the entire calculus of international travel. Lawful permanent residents, or green card holders, face the most significant legal risks under these screening protocols. The critical legal distinction here is absolute right of entry. U.S. citizens possess it. Permanent residents do not. Looking back at the matrix, the input is extended international travel utilizing a foreign passport. CBP officers heavily scrutinize long absences as a potential abandonment of U.S. residency. The bar for legal consequences has been lowered. LPRs using foreign passports for extended stays face a higher likelihood of expedited removal or direct referral to an immigration judge for an admissibility review. This scrutiny follows you home. During naturalization interviews, adjudicators are probing foreign national ties and looking closely at how you used your foreign passport in the past. If you maintain active foreign ties, you carry a heavy administrative burden. You must constantly carry extensive physical proof of your U.S. residency to protect your status from being questioned. For green card holders, these border protocols can escalate from a temporary airport delay into a permanent threat to your legal residency status. Now that we know how the system operates, we can plan for it. Secondary inspection is a reality that has to be anticipated rather than feared. This pre-flight action scorecard splits your strategy by risk tier. Left side, baseline requirements for all dual nationals. Verify digital records, validate documents, and log travel history. Right side, high-risk travelers require deliberate over-documentation. physical tax records, housing deeds, and employment verification. If you fall into those higher risk tiers, you should never travel internationally without a physical binder containing these proofs of your U.S. ties. Border preparation in today's landscape requires absolute exactitude. It must be treated like a strict compliance audit tailored directly to your profile. Which brings us back to the ultimate trade-off. You have to evaluate whether the practical return on investment of maintaining your foreign citizenship is worth the recurring administrative friction at the border. If you have a highly complex immigration history or ties to flagged nations, sit down with an immigration attorney to formally weigh the legal pros and cons of renouncing that foreign passport. International travel remains a standard, routine process, provided you approach the border with complete transparency and realistic expectations about how long processing will take. Navigating these new border realities requires calculated preparation. You have to know exactly where you stand before you scan your passport.